brother Michael, who has Fragile X syndrome, which is a condition that is the most common form of inherited mental retardation in males, and that's what my brother has. This may seem strange to many of you, but I'd consider this to be probably the greatest blessing in my life, to have my brother, even with his condition, as he's allowed me to see the world in such a unique and beautiful way. And I would really call him my mentor and probably my greatest teacher. He has taught me what it means to be a loving, kind, and sensitive individual. I remember as a kid when I would get into trouble a lot, my parents would be yelling and everyone would be screaming at each other. And he's so sensitive that he would even start crying because he was so in touch with everybody, and that he really felt upset that everyone was at odds with each other. And I think that this type of sensitivity is really innate, but also played a major role in my development by just being around him. Most of us are familiar with the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, who asks, "Who is strong?" And of course, Ben Zoma says, "He who subdues his personal inclination." Mike has revolutionized this idea to me and has truly withstood the temptation of using his disability as a crutch, and has been able to accomplish more in his life than my family could have dreamed for. He demanded that he have a bar mitzvah and have an aliyah from the Torah, and as a family joke, after he finished, he said to the rabbi, could he do it again? After he graduated from his special needs school, he demanded that he get a job like everybody else. Many thought that this would be impossible for someone with such severe mental disabilities. He silenced his critics, and he had the same job washing dishes at the Navy Medical Center in Bethesda for over 15 years. He goes to work every day at 5 a.m. He takes 2 buses and transfers and does that all by himself. In fact, Mike so rarely misses a day of work, he could take 2 years of paid leave off. And he has nearly qualified for government retirement. He is certainly happy with his lot and has never complained or asked for more money, even though he makes minimum wage. And he famously, when he's asked how he's doing, gives a big smile and responds, "I'm okay," which I think is just indicative of his character. In November, he became the first Special Olympian to be inducted into the JCC Sports Hall of Fame, and I flew home for that before Thanksgiving. He won his first gold medal when he was 10 years old, and just last year at 34, he won the State of Maryland Special Olympics basketball tournament. This despite all the doctors telling my parents that he would never be able to ride a bike or shoot a basket. And I will even admit that he has beaten me many times in a game of horse, and that I think he has the only bike that I've seen where the tires are actually completely worn down to the rubber. And so I think this type of determination cultivated my love for the underdog and endless determination. I tell you about my brother not because I like to brag about how amazing he is, but to re-emphasize that every human being is created in the image of Hashem, which I think is perhaps the most fundamental concept in the Torah, but one so often deemed as cliche or even ignored. So the next time you see a person talking to himself on the bus, I urge you not to look away or even laugh, as I think many of us are guilty of doing at times, because it's a good chance that this person is not very different from my brother, and I promise you that even though this person may seem very crazy, they see you moving away from them. I will conclude by just telling a quick story that I think defines Mike in my mind. My senior year of high school, Mike was actually unfortunately hit by a car when crossing the street and shattered his entire left arm. He broke his shoulder, his arm, and for nearly 2 weeks he was in a lot of pain. Obviously, he had reconstructive surgery, and he was stuck in bed. But somehow, every afternoon when I'd come back from school, I'd find my bed perfectly made. So I always wonder, really, who really is the retarded brother? The one who left his bed unmade every single day without realizing who was making it? Or the brother with one arm making the bed?